good morning, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33 WHPR, Comcast 90 in Oakland and Livingston County, and Comcast 91 24 hours a day in Detroit and all over the world, courtesy of the World Wide Web. And this is a wonderful day because we woke up this morning. Um, Last night, I watched The Wiz, and having directed it a couple of times, it was a really good production. Of course, I turned to the Lions, and I couldn't believe the ending of the Lions game. So we had a cowardly lion on one channel and a cowardly lion on another channel. What about that? But I have a great show for you today. My first guest is going to be Dr. Daphne and Ntiri Canham from Wayne State University. And then I have Randy Holloway, filmmaker, on. So let's get right down to business. Dr. Daphne Ntiri Canham. Good morning.
Well, good morning.
How are you?
I am just fine.
We haven't seen each other since January.
That's right, because I've been gone for quite a while.
Yes, you've been out of the country. She's been all over. But let's do a little background with Dr. Ntiri, and I'm going to call her Daphne. Uh, Before we get into what we're going to talk about, you're a full professor at Wayne State University.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
You're also a Fulbright scholar.
That's right. I just came back from University of Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso, West Africa, and very few people know the name Ouagadougou. So when I say it, it invites laughter. And where is that place on the face of the earth? So, well, it's a place that's the country has about 18 million people, so it's not a little small
Wow.
country. It's it has 3 medical schools in the country, and they have all kind of zoos and geological sites. I mean, it was a wonderful experience.
Wonderful. Well, we'll get into that in just a moment. Now, you're originally from Sierra Leone.
That's right. I'm from Freetown, Sierra Leone, in West Africa. And that's, if you have any idea of where it is, it's about 3 or 4 countries away from Nigeria. So most people know where Nigeria is, but that's a good thing.
Well, you're not far from Liberia,
I'm
though.
just very next to Liberia, just very next to Liberia. And as you know, there's a history behind the capital cities of both Liberia and Sierra Leone. Those were towns or centers that were set up for freed slaves.
Right.
Freetown
Freetown.
is a town for freed slaves, and Monrovia was named after President Monroe of the United States.
I didn't know that. That I
Yes.
didn't know.
Yes, because many of the slaves that came from that went to Liberia came from the United States. So
Wow.
yes.
Amazing.
Hmm.
So, you attended the universities over here, right?
Yes, well, I finished schooling in Freetown, Sierra Leone. I went to a very famous institution in Freetown, which was the site, the university that was heralded as the best at the time because it's old. It was way back in the 1800s that it was set up. And so people from all over West Africa and even the Caribbean attended that university. And
What
then I came
was
here
the
for
name of
graduate.
that university?
Fua Bay, I'm sorry, I should have said that. Fua Bay College. Fua Bay College. It's a very well-known institution all along the west coast of Africa and even East Africa. People came from far and wide to attend that institution because it was the only one. Now you have hundreds and thousands of colleges all over the it's a whole new day. And, it's higher education is now most appreciated. And so it has just blossomed. All universities have just blossomed all over. Just like you now you have in the United States, you have
Right.
millions of colleges. The same thing. There's a carryover
And now
there.
there's so many colleges that are online colleges.
Exactly. Oh, that's a new thing. And some of those are also in many of those institutions in Africa too. Americans are going over, Canadians, and there's all this foreign input that's creating the same. I mean, you would be very surprised that almost everybody in Ouagadougou where I was, all the students have their cell phone. They know about online. I mean, you give them assignments to go online, and they can. The internet is not as strong in terms of Wi-Fi access and all of that. But everybody, there are cafes, there are internet
Right,
cafes
right.
around where people can go do research and do their homework
Oh, that's
online.
great.
Very, very, I mean, it's very interesting. People think, well, she's going to Africa. Oh, no, I mean, They are abreast of everything. They're abreast of
Of course.
they're abreast of all
I
that.
did not think that they
Yeah.
were wearing those little,
Yeah,
little.
well, it depends on who's you're talking to.
I
I
know,
know,
I
right?
know, I know. And
Right.
you went to Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State is my school, my graduate school. I was, yes, I love Michigan State, of course. Go green. And
Really?
yeah, I got both my master's and my PhD from there, Department of College of Education. And so it's just a wonderful thing. And then here I am, ended up at Wayne State. So,
Yes.
I've stayed in
And
Michigan
you're
all, pretty
green
much all
there
my
too.
life.
You're
Yeah.
green at Wayne
Where,
State.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Wayne
yeah.
State, yes.
And when did you come to Wayne State?
Well, I started teaching at Wayne State. Oh, you want to know? It's a long time ago. In 1987. 1987 was when I started at Wayne State, and I was in the College of what we used to call College of Lifelong Learning, in the Interdisciplinary Studies Department. It became a department. It was called a program at one time, and then it became a department. And that was a department for non-traditional students. In that case,
What do they mean by non-traditional?
yeah, that it's a good word because traditional students are people who go to college immediately after high school. That is, after age 18, they go to high school. Non-traditional can be anywhere from, I think they start around 21 or 22, all the way to 100 years. And I did have a student in my class who was about 88. And
Really?
yes, and so you can have young and old, and it was a very that was a meaningful, productive experience because the students who came to the interdisciplinary studies department are motivated, highly motivated. They're not people that are said by their parents are asked to go to school. These are people who came because they wanted to. These are people who came because they needed that advanced degree to get promoted on their job.
Right.
These are people who came because they wanted their children, they wanted the community around them to know that they are capable. At that one time, I was smart. I wanted to prove to myself that I could get a degree.
Right, right.
And then they come and get one degree, and they wanted more and more and more.
And it's tenacity that
Yes.
is associated with that.
Exactly.
Sticking to it.
Stick-to-itiveness. That's a very good word. I always tell them, I said what they call stick-to-itiveness. That means, it's challenging because you're working and you have to go home with the kids and do their homework and get them to bed and then maybe wake up early in the morning. I always advise my students, I said, you know what? By 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, nobody can read. You're tired. You've had a full day. So I'll tell you what you do. And this is what I do. I go to bed and then I wake up a little early. You're fresh. It's a new day. And you can tackle your task much better. And that was very
And the
meaningful.
results are so rewarding.
Oh.
So rewarding.
Interdisciplinary Studies Department was one of the best things that Wayne State had. It's unfortunate that those programs, College of Lifelong Learning is gone. The Department of Interdisciplinary Studies is gone.
Well, has anything kind of taken the place of that?
I'm
Or
sure very soon it will resurrect itself in some sense. I mean, it's needed. There's a need for it. So when there's a need, you always try to address that need. And I do think that in a short while, there will be some form of department that would address the need for non-traditional learners because right now they're all absorbed into the mainstream of the
right, they
university.
are.
So
But there are different needs when you're a non-traditional student.
exactly. That's as I said. But Winston right now, you do have all of them mix and mingle with the young folks, but it's a little. I would say if I were in that state and I had to go to college, it would be better for me if I was in a classroom where I know we are the same ilk and same age, same peer group and stuff.
Right, right.
Than if you were just tossed in with the young people. I mean, because really most of the people at universities like these they're coming directly from college at 18, right?
Right,
18,
right.
19, and so the mix is different. The mix is
Right, the
different.
mix is different. And things are different with urban universities
Exactly.
and other universities.
Yeah.
Can you speak to those differences?
Yeah, that's a good point also because Wayne State is situated in the heart of the city. It's what we call an urban research university. It's a Carnegie, I think it's a Carnegie 1. It used to be a Carnegie 2, but now it's a Carnegie 1 institution, which means that it measures favorably with institutions that are heavy in research because it has a medical school, it has law school, business school, and all the things that make a university prestigious.
Right.
So in that sense, we're a very prestigious Midwestern institution, but we are based in an urban area.
There are some concerns right now about the medical school in that in recruiting black students. They're having some issues with that, and I hope that can be fixed because they're they have less students than they did when black students when my cousin was at the university almost 40 years ago.
Is that right?
Yes. In fact, she's the one who told me about it and sent me some paperwork about it.
Yeah. I myself, I went to my dentist, and the first thing she said to me was, "What's going on at Wayne State?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, I hear about the medical school." So this is no small issue. I
Right.
think
It's
it's
a
being,
big issue.
yeah, I think it's a big issue because it's all over the country. My daughter, who's also a doctor, she said to me, "We've been talking about it in the department about Wayne State," and I said,
Yes.
"Wow,
Yes.
this is a very serious issue
It's a
because,
serious issue.
yeah, but I think it's been addressed. I think I saw a couple of memorandum that went out and addressing the fact that
Oh, good.
this is a problem that has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. So
Right.
it will be.
Do you think there are more distractions for urban university than they are for a university, say in Ypsilanti, where they have Eastern Michigan or Ann Arbor?
Distractions. I wouldn't call them distractions. I don't know what you mean by distractions, but I
Well-
mean, if you're in a major city like Detroit, there's so many attractions.
Yeah.
Attractions can be distractions
Yeah,
too.
yeah, they can be. They
so-
can be.
yeah.
My only issue with Wayne, I only went there for one summer
Right.
because I graduated from Eastern, and it was the parking. That
Oh, that's
always,
right.
The parking always
Yes.
got to me.
Wayne State is a wonderful institution because it's urban, as you said. It used to be a commuter campus, so people just commute and go back, and that's in a sense that's why they're encouraging online classes so that they can alleviate the parking problem. Everybody talks about it. Even the president, it's a concern for everybody, but it's an urban institution, and with urban institutions come a problem with space. So we're having that problem, but they're increasing the parking lots and all of that. But don't forget, this is an institution of about, what, 33,000 students? So
It is getting bigger
And
and
bigger,
bigger, and
yeah.
that whole Midtown area is
yes,
just growing.
jammed. I mean, yes, it's a good thing too. That's what we want to see. We want to see the influx of people coming in and enriching and benefiting from the power that Winston gives. So it's doing that, but at the same time, I know how many parking tickets I've gotten. I know that my car has been towed before, so I know it's a problem for the students and the faculty and everybody.
And what's
Yeah.
so bad at those new parking meters, if you get a
That's
ticket,
right.
$45.
I know. That is the saddest part. I don't believe why they would do that. I mean, most of the students are poor and they have to park somewhere because they're going to get their books at a bookstore or they're going to go get something to eat. Or some of them,
And this city doesn't have a good transit system.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to do right now because, all that subway system that they're trying to create would really help us.
Light rail.
It would really, really help, I think, because we can move back and forth. I hope. Now, let's hope because, we have, what we have now is what, the thing downtown.
Oh, the people mover?
The people mover, yeah.
That just goes in a circle.
That's right. Well, it does its own job. It's supposed to do that, so it's doing that. So we are hoping this light rail will help us again, too.
Well,
to-
Daphne, I've
Yeah.
always been very impressed with you about your devotion to literacy.
Oh, yes.
And I don't even know, we've known each other a long
Yes,
time.
that's true.
The ironic thing about Daphne and I is we don't even remember where
Where
we
we
met. But we've done a lot of things together,
That's right.
projects and so forth. And she's also had the Black United Fund.
Yeah, no, it was black artist. Yeah,
Yeah, a black-
Marcus Belgrave. and
Yes.
all that,
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
just a big supporter and promoter of Marcus Belgrave.
Advocate, yeah.
And I remember when you gave the concert down at Shane Park
on his behalf.
on
Right.
his behalf, yes, years
That was a
ago.
wonderful thing, 1995, yeah. And we
Gosh.
had all the artists from all over, the jazz artists from everywhere. I do remember that. And that was a
Yes.
fun moment.
It was
yeah.
fun.
We had a large representation from Wayne State and from the community, and that was my first time in front of an audience of about 4,000 people. I couldn't believe it. It was
Well, you had my earrings on. They were lucky earrings, you know.
see what that happened. So
They
that's
were-
my friend Brenda.
Yeah, we always just go back and
And
forth.
forth.
But literacy.
Yeah.
Why don't you give the audience a little quick background about why you're so devoted to making Detroit a literate city?
Well, that is an easy question. because I think we all know what the demands of a new global society are. And we know that without literacy skills, a large size of our population in Detroit, our residents in Detroit, can go no further. You need those basic sets of skills to be able to advance in our new economy because it is just the base of what we have to do. Everything right now is technological. You go for a job interview, you need to read, you read by yourself. You want to order something, you have to do it by yourself. Even the GED right now that they have to take for those who missed out on getting their high school diploma, it's unfortunate that they have to go online and navigate the system to take a GED exam that
Is that
cost a
taken online now?
online. From 2014, Michigan opted for the online GED program. That is a no joke thing because not only is it difficult for people who are just learning to navigate the internet system, but also it's costly. It's $150 to take that exam
Oh,
from
really?
$30. It used to be 30 for paper and pencil, but now it's
Oh, wow.
$150. So
150.
yes, that's right. So yeah, we have to accommodate those kind of costs if we want people to advance. But the question you ask is, we are a Renaissance city. We are full of vigor, and the downtown is being gentrified, and we are moving towards a much more advanced program of success. So I think literacy is fundamental. I think we have all have to embrace it because the universe is very large. There are so many organizations, but even with these organizations, we can't correct the problem because the problem is so endemic in the system.
Yeah, because the percentage
It's
of illiterate people in the city is high.
very high, very high. I mean, we want to see a city that has, let's say, 15% illiteracy rate, 20. But when you're talking about over 45%, approximating 50, half of the population, I think it's disgraceful. I think we feel,
I don't know how all this happened because, we're ladies of a certain age.
yeah,
And when I was coming up, and I grew up here, everybody just went to school,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
I know that I can't understand how it's gotten worse as
That's
the
right.
years have gone on.
Well, I didn't grow up here, but I mean, I have several programs where I have dealt with people, and I think it's just sometimes it's the home condition, sometimes it's just the neighborhood where you grew up in, sometimes it's just the
Environment
fact.
does play a big part.
Yes,
Yeah, I guess so.
intergenerational. Sometimes you also have intergenerational, and then also the structure of the city. I mean, the way the society is, is structured is that the white flight of the '60s left very little in the community, and so with the
And they've closed so many schools that
and the
some
drug
schools
problem.
is very
Yeah,
hard for people to even get to those
that's right,
schools.
right.
And the drug problem,
And the
of
drug
course.
problem
But
that is really central to a lot of things that are happening here. Yeah, that is one of the conditions that we have because most of the time we have a program. I can tell you, with the program we have at Wayne State is called Another Chance, and
another chance.
another chance, and it sees all kinds of people, even some from the prison, very very young kids, and they're all involved in this drug trade, or not many of them use it, but it's just a way
Of
access to
making
money.
money.
Then we have a program in the city called the Detroit Literacy Coalition. Again, we work with institutionalized people. Many of them is just coming to detox, even women too. We have programs
Yes.
here in Highland Park, Naomi's Nest, and they are women. And when you ask about it, they're small crimes, felonies, and you just wonder why, why. So besides the home and then the community from which you're coming in, then the drug thing is one of the serious weaknesses, the most important challenge that we have to address, when we're talking about literacy in the city. So if we want to fix the adult literacy problem, if we do want to fix it as a society, I can give you this example, which I give all the time. If we have been able as a nation to handle anti-smoking initiative, we introduced anti-smoking initiatives, and today, over a 50-year period, I think, when I was growing up in Africa, America was promoted with a pack of beer and Marlboro cigarettes. We used to look at the ads, big, huge ads, and say, wow, he looks so handsome, he looks so cute with that cigarette in his
Yeah, the
hand.
Marlboro
That's
Man.
right. That was about 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
And you can transform this society now into almost a non-smoking society. So I think if we have the political will to change our urban areas from a functional illiterate population to a functional literate population, it can be done. All we need is the political will to do
The
this.
political will, and sometimes just a little change in the culture of our families, and to promote it. It's funny. It was, because I taught, and I used to wonder why certain students, even very bright students, they wouldn't be in school, and so of course you call and you check, it ends up they're babysitting,
You know.
little things like that. But a person's life can be changed once they break down that wall of illiteracy.
I know. Well, in the department in which I am, I'm in the Department of African American Studies, which addresses needs largely of black people. I think we spend a lot of time really dealing with that issue. I mean, we have workshops, conferences, and again, this literacy program is.
And you've spoken around the world about it,
Oh
haven't
yes,
you?
I have, because when in Ouagadougou, I did a little bit of I was teaching, 60% teaching and 40% research, and so I spent some time really looking at what some of the other programs are out there, and the United States Agency for International Development spends a lot of time also with women. I looked at gender because I have a book, and I don't want to promote my book, but it's not.
You
It
can
doesn't.
say it.
Yeah, right. I have a book that came out early this year called Literacy as Gendered Discourse, Engaging the Voices of Women in Global Societies. So I am really for looking at women who have been deprived of the opportunity to go to school, because largely around the world, illiteracy wears a woman's face. Even in America, where opportunities for women and men are pretty much the same going to school, but illiteracy wears a woman's face even in America. So you can imagine what happens when you go around the world, because the women are supposed to take care of the babies or cook
Right,
or do
right,
this or do
right,
that.
right.
So, or use in farming and agricultural processes. So many of them drop out early to get married or to do this or do that. So I was very concerned with looking at some of the programs, and they're making a large amount of progress. I have to say that, because now in many of these African countries, and I guess countries around the world, there is what we call universal primary education, which never used to be the case. But
Right.
now everybody can go to school, boys and girls. They're encouraged to go to school for free, and so that
For
is a
free.
plus.
Oh,
Yes, that is a
wow.
plus. That is a major advancement in the process of educating the nations.
Oh, okay. And gosh, we're coming to the end of this already. Is that a call, Michelle? Oh, I don't know if that was a call. So someone might have wanted to ask you
Oh,
something
okay.
prior to you going. But
Yeah, okay.
there's so much, and we can't. We have to have a special interview about your book.
Right, okay.
Because that is
Oh,
important,
yes,
and
that's very
women,
important, right.
right? We got to make
Gen-
that.
the nexus of women and literacy, that's is a very, very interesting topic. And every time I come to your show, we run out of time because there's so much to talk about.
Right. And the thing about that makes everything so interesting are attitudes.
Yes.
Attitudes. I talked to a gentleman 2 nights ago who had an attitude about women's higher education. We have Catherine
Oh,
on the line.
yeah, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Perryman, and to your guest. I will listen offline. May I have the title of the professor's book? And may I also have her name again?
Okay.
And thank you so much for taking the call, and I will listen offline for that information.
All right.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. It's Dr. Daphne Ntiri. It would be the book is under. Ntiri is Ntiri.
And Daphne?
And Daphne is Daphne. And Dr. Daphne Ntiri, and the title of the book,
The book is Literacy as Gendered Discourse,
Literacy as Gendered Discourse.
Engaging the Voices of Women in Global Societies.
Now, where is that available?
It's available online. It's published by Information Age Publishing, Information Age Publishing, and it's right online. You just go to Information Age Publishing or Google it, and it will come up.
Right. So
Yeah.
let's have that title once more.
Literacy as Gendered Discourse, Engaging the Voices of Women in Global Societies.
Yes.
That's,
Important. That's
yeah.
an important work.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much,
Oh,
darling.
And thank you very
And
much.
I got the opportunity to substitute for her down at Wayne
That's
a couple
right.
of years
That's-
ago.
And from then, you got a student, one of my students.
Yeah, in fact, she would have been here this morning, but she
Oh,
had to
she's
deal
still
with
with
her.
you?
She's still with me.
That's almost 3 years.
Yeah, she's still with me.
That's
She's
very
our
nice.
intern
Oh, my
and
goodness.
everything. So,
Always good being on the show. I enjoy coming and.
well, you got to bring the book, or
Yes.
we have to do that because this is such an important
That's right.
topic to our community.
Right, right.
So, thank you so much
Well,
again.
thank you very much, and have a good one.
And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a moment with Mr. Randy Holloway, filmmaker.
Thank you.